Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video I am filming a September TBR. So you may have noticed that TBRs have been kind of a scarcity on my channel for a while. That has been because I have just not felt a lot of motivation to read from a TBR. I've very much been a mood reader and I think for the past few months that has actually just been what I needed to do. However, now we're getting into the autumn, which, guys, if you know me at all, if you've watched my channel before, you will know I'm a massive autumn fan. And I just get kind of a spark of creativity, I get productive in the autumn, and I think it's the perfect time to bring back the TBRs. So today's TBR is September, and I really wanted to film this video because there are so many exciting kind of new releases and also a lot of books that I just really feel like reading. So without further ado, let's crack on to my September TBR. So I'm actually going to start off with a new release that's coming out in September, and it is, of course, Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. So thank you to Favour Books for kindly gifting me this gorgeous proof copy. I am very lucky, I know I am, to receive this beautiful proof. So this comes out at the start of September, so do keep an eye out for my reading vlog about this book. I'll be reading it very soon and I just can't wait for it, basically. This is about a set of friends, Alice and Eileen, and basically their relationship. So it's basically about two couples and the kind of ups and downs they have, and they really feel like life is catching up with them and they're just like worried about their kind of love lives but also their careers. Basically, if you've read a Sally Rooney book, you will kind of know the gist of what this book will be about, because Sally Rooney writes about relationships and she writes about them so well, and I'm just really excited to read another Sally Rooney book. I think like not a lot happens plot-wise in Sally Rooney's books, but I really like that. I kind of like just like being really close to people and observing people and characters, and I find them just fascinating. So this comes out on the 7th of September and I'll be reading this at the start of the month, and I am just hyped for this book. So the next book is something that I hope will start off my autumn reading with a bang. It is a book that I've never read before but is very well renowned as a kind of modern classic. It is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So I bet you're all thinking, as if you haven't read The Night Circus yet, and I know guys, I know. I'm very behind the times. When I first joined BookTube in 2013, this book was everywhere. And the kind of years following that, I remember just like being so determined to read The Night Circus, and I just never did. So I decided in September, I will read The Night Circus for the first time. I'm very hyped about it, and I think because this is about a magical circus that kind of comes to life in the evening, I feel like this is the perfect book to transition into fall or autumn. I think it's going to be magical, mystical, and really atmospheric, and that is what I want to kick off my autumn reading. So let me know down below in the comments if you have read The Night Circus, like what did you think about it? Hit me up, I want to know your thoughts. Okay, so going down the dark and delicious route, it's time for some fantasy romance, guys. You know me, I love a fantasy romance book. So I'm gonna read a very beastly book. It is actually huge. It is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharin. So I've heard incredible things about this book. This is a series, I believe, and this is basically about a witch and a witch hunter who are forced to marry. It sounds incredible. I love kind of an arranged or forced marriage trope, a marriage of convenience, anything like that. So I'm sure this book is going to be angsty as hell, and I'm really hoping for some like really great romance. So this is really about magic. It's about a witch, and I believe the world is kind of like French inspired, or maybe kind of like is set in France, I'm not sure. But either way, those sound like incredible things. I'm very on board with this book. So do let me know if you have read Serpent and Dove. I would love to hear your thoughts. And hopefully I really enjoy reading this book in September. I have like really high expectations for this book, so I am hoping it'll deliver. And the next two books I want to read in September are actually on my Kindle. So guys, the next book I want to read is another fantasy romance. I know I'm the most predictable person ever, but as we get into like the darker autumn months, something about fantasy romance, like a really dark romance, like, oh, I just love that stuff, you know? So the next book I'm going to read is The Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom, which I actually read a couple of months back. Absolutely fell in love with that book, to be honest. Like, it really surprised me because I just kind of like judged it by its cover and was like, this looks a little bit trashy, like it's billed as fantasy romance, but I'm not really sure how like well fleshed out it's going to be. Guys, I was blown away by this book. It is a duology, so, you know, I think that's great. It's not too long, a series. And let's just say the first book, The Bridge Kingdom, ended on quite a dramatic note. So I believe The Traitor Queen is going to pick things up to a whole new level, and the romance, I'm hoping, will just be delicious. Like, the romance was already quite great in the first book, The Bridge Kingdom, but I think in The Traitor Queen it's going to be even better because, like, let's just say certain things have been revealed and everything's out in the open now, so I'm very, very excited. If you like more fantasy to your fantasy romance, then this is definitely the series for you. This world is so rich, so detailed, so like incredibly imagined that I really would recommend it. It really does stand on its own as a fantasy series. And not to mention the romance, which is quite spicy, but like in a good way. And the sauciness doesn't like overtake the plot. So there are quite a few like romance scenes, but they are justified and they are in there for the right reasons, and it just blends together so well. So I'd really recommend this series, and that's why The Traitor Queen is very high on my TBR for September. And finally, the next book on my September TBR is a romance book, because I've really gotten into historical romance over the past few years, and I feel like my TBRs always have to include some form of romance just to kind of like really mix up the genres that I read. So I'm going to read Love in the Afternoon by Lisa Kleypas, which is book 5 in the Hathaway series. So the Hathaway series is one of Lisa Kleypas's earlier series. Lisa Kleypas is obviously a historical romance author who has written my all-time favourite romance series, which are The Wallflowers and The Ravenels. So I talk about Lisa Kleypas on this channel a hell of a lot, so bear with me because I'm a big fangirl, what can I say? But the Hathaways series is about a family called the Hathaways who are kind of down on their luck, and they basically need to get married in order to survive and like get wealth, for example. They start off the series quite destitute, but each book takes each Hathaway sibling in turn. And I believe Love in the Afternoon is about the character Beatrix, which I'm really excited because she's definitely the quieter sibling. And so I'm just really, really looking forward to this book. I think these series, like the Hathaways, the Ravenels and the Wallflowers, are just so good if you just want an escapist read that won't take you very long but will completely blow you away, and they're just the most enjoyable books. So I'm not sure if this is the last book in the Hathaway series. I have a feeling there's one more, but I'm not sure. Feel free to correct me if you have read the series. But I am really keen to kind of continue my Lisa Kleypas binge and try and read all of her series. So Love in the Afternoon is going to be my final read in September. So guys, that is it for today's September TBR. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and please do leave your September TBR in the comments below. I'll see you next time in another video. Bye!